The Ring Magazine crowned Naoya Inoue as pound for pound number one in boxing. You guys know how I feel about that. And interestingly enough, I'm not the only person. Even on the panel of selectors, Inoue got on there because five of the nine selectors picked him, but four disagreed with that pick. Um, and basically on the same grounds that I had. In fact, some people say he should have still been at number two or number three. Listen, Inoue doesn't deserve to be in the top five, in my opinion. You know, I've seen Blue Blood Sports TV and a number of other people saying he should be in the top five. Let me explain to you something. Yes, Donaire was a title holder. He was the WBC title holder. I agree with that. So you know, the rematch had some sort of semblance of importance. But let's make it abundantly clear. Something that a lot of people are just completely forgetting. Donaire fought Inoue the first time when he was 36 years old, right? A number of you said it wasn't even a close competitive fight, even though Donaire broke Inoue's orbital bone. I personally thought it was much closer. But the thing about it is, Inoue dropped Donaire in the 10th round. And into the 11th and 12th rounds, Inoue was the one who was in control of that fight. And I predicted that Inoue would stop Donaire because I knew it was going to be a continuation of the first fight. So I told people this is not even going to be. And then Inoue's experience and everything from that fight. So I thought that people would know that and know that the fight was going to be a short fight. Apparently, people didn't realize that, and so a lot of people were like hyping up Donaire and so on. And Donaire was 36 when he faced Inoue the first time, and now he's 39 years old when he's facing Inoue the second time. I mean, I never really saw it as something as tremendous. See, if we go right now to the 154 division, where Jamel Charlo had a close fight, he had a close fight with Brian Castano, in which you could argue Brian Castano won the fight. I could understand a rematch there, right? In this case, the rematch was only necessary because Donaire had a belt. But here's the other background to this story that the ring is not factoring in and they're ignoring, which is that Inoue had a fight. He had a scheduled fight with John Riel Casimero in 2001, and that fight was canceled. Inoue backed out of the fight. And then John Riel Casimero had a fight with uh, 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 Guillermo Rigondeaux, and then that was put on the back burner when Donaire stepped up to the plate, said he was going to face Inoue, and then Donaire backed out of the fight, okay, and his team. So basically, what I'm saying is that Donaire ended up facing Inoue when Inoue should have faced Casimero. I'm gonna tell you why you can't put a guy like Donaire so high up in the pound for pound rankings. And y'all will say, well, a rematch is a rematch, and Donaire was doing well as a WBC champion and all of that. Well, let's put this into perspective. Okay, one, yes, Donaire is a Hall of Famer, but he knew he already beat him. So what's the point rematching him? You take the belt from him, you beat him in 2 rounds. Yeah, okay, but what are you really proving? He was 39 years old. As much as Donaire was talking up the fight and his wife, you know, he was way significantly slower than Inoue in this fight. So if you just look at his performance in this fight compared to when he was 36 years old, it's significantly different. He obviously slowed down and all of that. So my point anyway is this. If Inoue wanted to move up the ranks, and he still wouldn't have been that high, he would have had to beat somebody else, first of all. Because you already beat Donaire. So what's your point? You beat this dude already. You hurt him in the 10th round. You were on the verge of stopping him in the first fight. So why would we think that wouldn't proceed to being something like that again in this fight? I never quite understood it. But anyway, they'll hoop line and make it a big old fuss, like if Donaire and Inoue was some big fight, right? Meanwhile, Inoue avoids Casimero. He's not pressing to have a Casimero fight. He's pressing for a Donaire fight. Okay? I can't give him that top spot. There's no way I'm giving him that top spot over Alexander Usyk, who beat Anthony Joshua, a guy significantly bigger than him, a guy in a higher weight class with greater jumps in weight. Are you kidding me? Right? To jump from cruiserweight to heavyweight is a difference of 10 pounds, ladies and gentlemen. 10 pounds. Okay? Now Inoue, who went up 3 weight classes, only went up 6 pounds in all. You're talking like a guy that jumped 10 pounds. And then Anthony Joshua outweighed Alexander Usyk by how many pounds? You know, you have to look at these things. He's much bigger, he's much taller, everything. So Inoue wasn't facing a guy much bigger and taller. In fact, Inoue had the advantages in length and reach, age, you know. Uh, he's the better boxer. He always had a better boxing IQ than Donaire. I don't understand why we're even talking about this. He did what he was supposed to do. Okay? Inoue should not be, he should have dropped in rank because he rematched the same guy who he did not struggle with, who he beat comprehensively, and he beat more comprehensively the second time. That's not something to put a guy up in the pound for pound rankings. You acquired a belt, cool. Now, if you did that to Casimiro, you deserve to be higher up the rankings. But this is like a rerun of the same thing. There's no adversity. With Charlo, not only did Charlo stop, and again, a very competitive fight, he stopped Castano, but more importantly, he became undisputed when he stopped Castano. There's no way in hell I'm going to give Inoue, I'm going to give him precedence over an undisputed champion. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. That's wrong. Hold on a second. I'm coming right back. And what would be worse? And like I said before, I find that people overcompensate for non-black fighters, but they're highly critical of black fighters. You know what I mean? But what makes it even worse to me is the fact that they're going to give Inoue and Inoue a pass if he never faces Casimiro and jumps up in weight. They'll give him a pass, and he's pound for pound supposedly number one, right? So I'm just interested in seeing how this all goes on. Every single fake pound for pound number one guy that they have put up there, that they have embellished, whether it was Lomachenko, whether it was Roman Gonzalez, whether it was, I don't think Triple G ever was pound for pound number one, right? They didn't earn their stripes to be pound for pound number one. Guess what? They got knocked off the pedestal, right? They got knocked off the pedestal. Okay? You know why? Because they don't know, these people don't know. They're so excited that a non-black fighter's at the top that they overcompensate. You know how eager they are to topple Terrence Crawford from the top so that he's not pound for pound number one? They want anybody else but a black fighter at the top. And that racism is what is their undoing. Right? Let me say this abundantly clear. I like Lomachenko. I liked him even before they were making all this hoopla about him. When he wasn't stopping guys left, right, and center, he was boxing like crazy. But you know what ESPN did? ESPN made a big hoopla about Lomachenko and started falsifying information about him. They took away his loss and made it a draw. They called him great as Muhammad Ali and all these guys. And then, as if that wasn't enough, they took Lomachenko and put him up on this high pedestal as if he could not be beat. And then guess what happened? They even put the franchise belt in the way so he could duck Devin Haney. And what happened? He ducked Devin Haney, and the very next fight he fought, he lost. They were ready to coronate him as the greatest fighter ever. And villainized Orlando Salido. Orlando Salido, an Uber driver. Villainized Orlando Salido. We're ready to coronate him. Overcompensating for the fact that this is not a black fighter. And they're tired of seeing black fighters at the top. But you're ready to falsify information. But if it's a black fighter at the top, he doesn't deserve it. He can't get there. I heard one guy in a group I was in. I put a pound for pound list down. Made perfect sense. Tell me that Devin Haney's too high up that pound for pound list, and Jermell Charlo's too high up that pound for pound list. I said, well, why? Devin Haney went to Australia in a hostile environment, had the WBC title, and comprehensively whitewashed George Kambosos, the guy you guys said was going to beat him, and favored him to win. Not the bookies, but most of you guys on social media and in the groups and stuff. We were proven to be wrong. And I said that fight was a mismatch. He became undisputed. You don't. Let me say something. How can you not put a fighter on the pound for pound list who has been undisputed? How can you not do that? You know? You have to put it. There are 6 fighters in this present era who have become undisputed. Alexander Usyk was high up the pound for pound list because he became undisputed at cruiserweight. Josh Taylor ended up on the pound for pound list because he was undisputed. I'd rather high up the pound for pound list. Canelo solidified his place as number 1 on the pound for pound list by becoming undisputed. Terence Crawford entered the pound for pound list and is in the top 5 of the pound for pound list for the longest while because he was undisputed. So why all of a sudden Jermell Charlo, he can't be on the pound for pound list? Why all of a sudden Devin Haney is not on the pound for pound list? Undisputed means undeniably you are the best of your division. Not only are you the man, but you cleaned out your division, right? That's what it's supposed to mean. You got all the trophies, all the belts, so now everybody's coming for you, right? The more defenses you have, is the more you solidify and win. Is successful defenses you have, the more you solidify they're the best in the division. Okay? They were ready. They put Teofimo Lopez, I think, was number 7 on the pound for pound list for being, they say, undisputed, but he was unified. He beat Loma, and he was unified. Devin Haney is undisputed. He beat Kambosos, who beat Haney, who beat Loma. You know? I don't see Inoue ahead of all those guys. All right, let's talk about another important point. Jermell Charlo has agreed to facing Tim Tszyu next, and the WBO has ordered it. Inoue is trying to face Paul Butler, who Inoue knows did not win the title from John Real Casimero. I would have thought Inoue would go after Casimero first, and then Paul Butler to show that he's the best. But no, he's eager to face Butler. When the bigger fight would be Casimero. So, I'm just saying. He wasn't eager to go after Casimero. I believe Butler is the same guy Tate knocked out. So, that's easy pickings for Inoue. We all know Casimero is no easy pickings for anybody. And so, why doesn't Inoue face him right now? Okay. So all I'm saying is, I already talked about this topic in much more detail than is necessary. All I am saying is that there are champions in higher weight classes who are facing way better competition, taking much more risks. And no Inoue, who's in a much lower weight class, where climbing weight is less of a big jump, so it's not as significantly bigger guys. And two, that he didn't really face anybody that changes my opinion. He collected a belt, but he didn't face a contemporary of his age group, and he didn't test himself. So I don't think he should be moving up the ranks. They remain the same for me. I'll catch you guys later on What You Need. Peace.